This new video game of the Coffin of Andy and Lele shows how developers can actually sell and make a lot of money by dunking on the tourists. Like, it is financially profitable, it is a moral good to upset the people on Twitter that are trying to talk about virtue, and they're telling how you need to make art to make less offensive. If you do the opposite, not only do you make money, but the community, the actual gamers, the actual decent people, the actual audience, the actual modern audience will love you for it. So this video game is called the Coffin of Andy and Lele, and it is a walking simulator, as the developer calls it, a walk and talk adventure with light puzzling. Brother and sister practice cannibalism after witnessing a botched satanic ritual. So you do not have like the developers trying to hide what this game is about. You're outright warned from the get-go that this is covering certain themes that are specifically designed to make people uncomfortable. And making the reader uncomfortable is an excellent, an amazing story device. This is why modern movies and modern video games suck, is because they choose not to use stuff that has worked throughout history. I mean, look at Game of Thrones. Daenerys getting raped by Drogo is supposed to make the viewer uncomfortable, and it's supposed to get you to be hooked in to see how is she going to escape this situation, how is she going to manage to survive. And it's the same thing with American slashers. If you look at Nightmare on Elm Street, or any movie with Jason Voorhees, like all of these things are specifically designed to make the viewer feel as uncomfortable as possible. But for some reason, people on Twitter are trying to force their reality onto us that, no, in fiction, you're not supposed to do these things. Like, even though it doesn't affect reality, even though it's just imagination, we need to thought police people. Like, we need to dominate what other people are allowed to think, and we can actually excommunicate people from our society if they have the wrong thoughts. Even if they don't act on it, even if there's no study that would show that people who play the Coffin of Andy and Lele are bad individuals. No, we need to distance ourselves from them, and we also need to punish the developer. Like this is what you get if you go on Twitter. This is the vibe that they are doing. This developer has published heretical material that is very popular with the peasantry, and it may affect the peasantry in a negative way. So how exactly does it affect the peasantry in a negative way, you wonder? Is it the satanic ritual? Is it the acts of cannibalism? No, apparently, in one of the alternative endings, you can have incest. So it's implied that the two protagonists have sex. Now, this is not a hentai game, so it doesn't actually show it on the screen, but it is implied. And because it is implied, people on Twitter are freaking out about it. Like, this is worse than the economic downturn. This is worse than anything else that's happening in the world. Like they're treating this as if it's heresy that is tainting the sacred culture and pure virtuous and righteous culture that America is having right now. And obviously these people deserve to be laughed at and deserve to be blocked, muted, and ignored because they are tourists. A tourist is a person who doesn't play the game, doesn't consume the product, and they have an inherent ideological agenda. They want to change the product, but they will never play it. And the changes that they have actually affect the customer, actually affect the people who like this type of game. So why do I say that they don't play it? Well, to get this ending where the incest exists is very difficult. Apparently, at the time when they were complaining, only around 90% of the people got it. And to get it, like, you gotta research and figure out how it's... There is no way that these people actually play the game. And another reason that I think that they are falsely outraged has to do with the male gaze. It's because Lele is a character that is drawn in a specific way which attracts the heteronormative male gaze. And if the heteronormative male feels any sort of representation, if he genuinely identifies with the sexuality in media, it is 100% wrong. Okay, like straight guys, you got Twitch, you got OnlyFans, you got all these other places where you can watch real women. But if you watch it in fiction, that is sinful. That is despicable, right? So the author should be ashamed. It's almost interesting. Like the reason that I'm saying that it's false virtue, like imagine if we were to actually take these people seriously. Like you should never take the tourists seriously, but if you were to be so inclined as to genuinely believe that these are individuals who want more virtue in society, and okay, you need to be okay with cannibalism, you need to be okay with murder, you need to be okay with satanic rituals, like all of these things need to be fine, and your only problem is that, okay, there's incest in a video game. Which, by the way, again, like this whole video game is not meant for people to think that Lele is a good person, or to try to, I suppose, use Andy and Lele as role models. I mean, holy shit, like if you look at culture, you know, we grew up with Beavis and Butthead, but like no one was trying to replicate Beavis and Butthead. Andy and Lele would be like the modern equivalent of that. You know, you're looking at their adventures, and it's supposed to give you emotions, it's supposed to give you feelings, which art that is good is actually supposed to do. Like whether it makes you angry, whether it makes you happy or sad, as long as the art actually conveys something to the viewer, then it's good. Which is why this game has overwhelmingly positive reviews. Like over 3,600 people have given this game overwhelmingly positive reviews, because it actually gets you to feel something. Like, fucking hell, make me feel something. I am so sick and tired of playing all these AAA games when I don't feel shit. Like, I can't remember the last game where I actually felt some emotion. I think like Mass Effect was probably the last one, or Dragon Age, whichever came last. But like those games that actually get to make you feel something are so rare. And when I say feel, like anything, just make me feel something. Make me feel happy, make me feel angry, make me feel outraged, but make me feel, for the love of fucking God. I can't think of any Western AAA title which came out recently that made me feel. All of their stories are sanitized. All of their stories like avoid all of these topics, which is fine, but like put some topics in to replace the ones that you removed. But they can't do that. And that's the main problem. You know, this is why AAA gaming is such a joke. This is why modern movies are such a joke. I don't feel shit. Do you guys feel? No, unironically. Maybe I'm out of line, you know? Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. What's the last product that you bought in the last 2 years that you could actually say, yeah, I watched it and I felt something? Like when you watch The Matrix, right? There are parts of it where you're actually feeling tension. There are parts of it where you're actually feeling curious. Like, how is the story going to... If I watch the last Marvel movies, it's like, okay, you know, like, watch the latest Disney remake. What do you feel? You don't feel anything. And this is why I think it sucks. And the reason is that they're trying to cater to all these tourists who always go like, no, you're not allowed to have this theme. You're not allowed to have the other theme. You're not... by the way, the developer actually has a message. Apparently, like, they commissioned this art before the controversy. Like, this is the most hilarious thing. This art could have never seen the light of day if the tourists wouldn't have complained. But because they complained, well, apparently they need to cry about it. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.